I got AIDS.
Saying she's got cankles, for God's sake.
Cankles? She's got no ankles. It's like the calf merged with the foot.
Cut out the middleman. She's got like coffee cans down there.
Hey yo, cuz. What's this?
Betwixt the ruby seas, deep in the eye of the storm, a bastion of beef and hope lies nestled in the sand. 4 men almost lost to the deep now find tranquility within its walls. And now they're inviting you in for a tale unlike anything you've ever heard before.
Wow, what a trip. Didn't expect to end up here, to be honest.
I know.
We're kind of going somewhere else, but I mean, we're no worse for wear. It seems none of us are.
Who the fuck was
guessing
flying the
was.
plane?
I mean, my dick fell off.
That was Courtney. You can see her on the way
You still
down.
got a dick?
Yeah, we need to get a new editor.
So the finally hit.
That was pretty
yeah,
brutal.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Andrew's
like. I don't
unfit.
want to. You know, you guys seem pretty chill about this whole thing, but does anyone? What's this? Who's this guy?
Oh wow!
I don't know
that's
where we-
famous. That's famous internet man, Ricepirate.
Listen,
AKA Mick.
listen. Welcome to my island. I'm glad you boys found yourselves here. I've been needing the company. That said, there are some ground rules.
What are they?
Okay, I'll do anything.
Okay.
They are the only people allowed on this island must be extra beefy. Are you boys beefy?
That's me.
I
Well,
think
call
so.
it-
Yes, sir.
I call it.
If the namesake holds us well,
I call extra beef.
I think we might get along, you and I.
I am.
Oh,
morbidly
thank God.
obese.
Wait.
Are you the morbidly obese?
I like the anime voice, like the oh, thank God, yeah.
Wait. Do you happen to be Detective from Markiplier?
I am Markiplier, and I'm the detective. Yes, that's true.
my
I
God.
know that's right. Rice Pirate Markiplier.
You know, we are talking about a
Hold on,
Markiplier project. I just have to say that this month, there should be some Markiplier goodness coming soon. Just saying.
Oh.
Has anyone heard of something called Five Nights at Freddy's 2?
Very big fans.
Seven?
It's gonna be the Friday Night Freddy's Funkin' React videos, and I'm telling you, they are hot. They
It's
are
like
hot.
3 things at once.
Boom.
Dang, you heard it here first, folks. Well, anyway, thank you so much for lending us your island,
Yeah,
Mick.
for real.
We've been wanting to get you on the podcast for ages. So this is a great coincidence that we happen to crash land here.
I want to apologize that I can't be with you guys in person. I happen to have a hypoallergenic cube that I live in on
That's
this
fine.
island.
You
That
know,
makes
well,
sense.
we
That
know
makes
how it
sense.
is.
Yeah. Do you happen to be on that island over there? The one with like the blue stripes and the little golden bubble
Yes.
on top?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Listen, make all the jokes you want. It's just
What
true.
is that island?
I heard a lot of people. I think Bill Gates went to that island.
A lot
one
of
time.
famous people travel
What's
there.
this black book I found?
In fact, Courtney, if you're still alive, can you please put a list of everyone who went on the island on screen right now? Thank you.
Undead
Yeah,
Courtney.
All you need
Actually,
is the travel. Yeah, there's a travel log that
I think
actually
I
has
found
a name
it. It
of the
floated
people.
up on
Yeah.
here.
Oh, who's that right there at the top?
What does it say?
Is that a Bible?
Jesus was on it.
Jesus, and then Tom Hanks, and then
Haggai.
Leonardo
Many a
DiCaprio.
time.
And
Think about
Zachariah.
it. No. When you think about it, the Bible was the first Epstein's black book.
Yo,
That's true.
That's kind of true. I mean, Andrew, your thoughts?
Probably true.
Do you think if
think
Jesus was
so.
still around, he would have taken a
Yes.
one-way trip to Lolita Island?
100%.
Basically, what I'm asking is,
just
was
to check
Jesus
it
a
out.
pedophile?
Where
It was
do you think
old
after
times. Do you think he was
resurrected?
probably a pedophile?
Where do you think he
Yeah.
resurrected to, bro? He opened that big old fucking stone. They couldn't find him. He's fucking one-way ticket to Epstein's mansion.
He
bro.
woke up and was
Smoking
like,
a big doink with Epstein.
14-year-old.
Yeah.
Big
Tell
old
you what,
This
brother,
is-
this island is great.
So I'm curious when, and this is going to sound really like bad taste, but I'm just trying to be honest here.
Okay.
And all of that wasn't.
Yeah. So I'm curious when something like pedophilia became like an issue. I'm only saying because like during the Greeks, during like
I'm
the
only
Greeks,
saying because I have a time machine now.
during like the time of the
I
Greeks,
wanna know what year to enter.
they would take baths with like, you know what I mean? Like boy lovers was kind of like a,
Oh,
a
yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
and I'm just and like even like if you guys saw True Grit. I don't know, the remake of True Grit with Jeff Bridges and Matt Damon. There was a scene where he's in
Yeah.
the bedroom with the girl, and he was like, "I had half a mind to sneak a kiss, but now I'm thinking of laying you over my knee and giving you a spanking." And it was just like, bro, like you were gonna like make out with this girl, and now you're gonna like what the fuck is like the moral fucking
Those are the two
compass
opposite
here?
sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Even like, you know, you just go back to like medieval times or like, you know, Game of Thrones shit back when we had dragons and stuff. Like there was that was, you know, like girls were getting married at like age 13 and shit. Like that was just
Right.
like when shit happened, and that was just normal, you know.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, by 15, you would like survived, I don't know, COVID or something, and then, you know, several
Yeah.
diseases, and you probably killed a dude for your
White
family's
Walkers,
honor.
you survived
Yeah.
White
yeah,
Walkers.
you were. Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
yeah.
Like you were. You were a
Yeah.
man at 15.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah.
Jon Snow meant to be like 16 for like all the books pretty much? Like he's not the like mid-20s, you know.
They're all
cousin,
like a few
Kit
years.
Harington.
Yeah, like knock like 3 or 4 years off all of them basically in the books. Like one of the kids is like 3 years old at the beginning of the books or some shit. So I think if Game of Thrones taught us anything, it's like 12 years old.
Yeah.
So I guess going off this topic, like what do you think the age of consent should be, Mick?
Wow, that's a
On your
that's a
island,
spicy
you could
on my island.
Yeah,
you
the
know
Lord
what
of
I'm
the
saying?
Sun. You can do whatever you want.
We already know what the
Time
one of the
law.
adjacent island is,
The
so
age
this
of-
one, the bar is
Did
pretty
you guys see
low.
Yeah, he's got to beat
Did
them.
you guys see that crypto island thing?
No. Let's
A
talk
bunch
about
of
that.
these fucking let me give you an out
that
there.
what
Let's
we are?
abandon ship.
A bunch of these crypto bros wanted to pool their crypto money together and make their own crypto utopia, Cryptopia.
Crypto.
And
in the metaverse or in real life?
IRL.
Okay.
And there's a Twitter account for it, and naturally, someone tweeted at them saying, "Hey, what's the age of consent going to be on
Oh,
Cryptopia?"
I saw that.
And they replied with, "Mental maturity should be enough." Winky face.
Yeah.
And immediately everyone obviously
the
starts dogging on them hardcore, and they're backpedaling fucking hard, and they're like, they're doing shit like, sorry, like a lot of people run this account and not all of them speak English as their first language, and they're confused. It's like, bruh, there's no way.
Yeah, why
whoever
did
typed
oh
that
my God.
didn't know what they were saying.
There's just some dude from like Bangladesh who was running the account that day. Is like, my wife's 9. She's pretty mentally mature.
That is not a factual representation of Bangladesh. Maybe it is, but we're not saying that it is.
You just
We don't know. Have
You
ever been
threw
to
all
Bangladesh?
of Bangladesh
No,
right under the fucking bus, dude. You were just like fucking pedo.
Our Bangladesh
So then
viewers
that's
are
where
going
we
to be
could be.
pissed.
Yeah.
We could be
That
in
is true.
Bangladesh right now.
This might
All
just
right,
be
are you guys
compass.
going? Are you guys going? Boy lovers from ancient Greece, or are we going?
Yes.
Boy lovers from Taiwan.
Wait a minute. What? Where did
Which
Taiwan
one?
come from?
Don't they have the What are they called?
Oh, I see where you're going.
No,
with
you're
that.
talking about
Come on, that's the
Thailand.
thing.
Thailand.
bruh.
No, Nick's from Taiwan.
Air
He's the boy
Thailand is
lover
on
from
the land. You know,
Taiwan.
I get it. You know, you don't. One's the one, one's the
They
land.
just
You
threw
know.
Yeah,
Taiwan.
Disney
under the
World,
bus so hard.
Disneyland, not the same place, bro.
That's true,
Different
that's true.
places.
Yeah, James, you're from Florida. You're from Florida.
I'm
the guy.
Florida. I just live here now. I don't even know what I just said. Flolita. Fucking.
Oh my god.
Lolita Express.
No, I
Shit
was
on
gonna say,
Welcome to the
yo,
welcome to
Taiwan.
the podcast, Mick.
Taiwan has thank you. Taiwan has something that I really enjoyed. There was an article, like I think it was like 5 years ago, where they had Taiwan specifically for some reason was in the news about it, where they had funeral strippers. And so, like, you know, there's like funeral criers. Like you hire people to
lit.
come.
Right.
Like you don't know who the fuck they are, but they just
Right.
show up. They
Come.
get free lunch, and then they cry at your wedding to make everybody else feel better or something. I don't know. But they have
Fucking
funeral
weird.
strippers. And I thought that was, I mean, it's bizarre, but I found it kind of interesting. I mean, if you're at a funeral and you're really, really sad, and then there's just a bunch of people whipping out their titties, fucking grinding up on the coffin. I thought
yeah.
that was kind of,
Wait,
it's
is
neat.
that the video of the chick who's like rubbing her like coochie juice all over the dead dude's nose?
I haven't seen this video that you've been watching on repeat. I have no idea what you're talking about. Not my
Don't
thing.
think so.
thought
Is that
that
something
was
you
funny.
saw when you were in
Yeah,
Mexico?
what website were you on?
Experience.
Yeah, I went to a Taiwanese funeral in Mexico, and
You went to a Taiwanese bathhouse.
yeah, she came out, she lactated all over the court.
Oh, that's the juice. Okay, thank God. I don't know.
Why is she?
You
What's
come
more
to me fully
disturbing,
erect
though?
on the day of my father's funeral.
Exactly. But what's more either erect inducing or disturbing? Is it a woman rubbing her cooch on a dead dude's nose, or blasting fucking nipple juice into his dead face? Like, I don't know which one I would actually prefer to watch.
What if they did the cooch thing and the dead guy came back to life for like, you know, like
Oh.
smelling salts? Like he was like,
Yeah, it's like when you hit an dead octopus with like soy sauce and they just spasm for like a second.
oh yeah,
This guy's just like a little gets like in his cornea and he's like,
Yes.
and he just goes.
Yes.
That's spasming. He starts Michael J.
Gets up,
Foxing it
starts
out of
doing
the
the
casket.
Dougie.
I love that. True loves cooch or true loves milk. You know, it's like either
I'm
one.
going true loves cooch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
fucking snail trail on your forehead. You just wake up.
It's like how they, you know, they have to make sure the body's dead before they bury it.
why did he have a runny
Right.
nose before he died? It's just like dripping.
Oh god. It's just a blessing. It's like, you know, in Game of Thrones they put the fucking eyeballs on your closed eyes.
Yeah.
Catholics probably like rub a tea on your head with holy water. Fucking
Yeah.
you go to Bangladesh, they twerk pussy juice on your nose, bro.
Yeah.
And you're
That sounds way more lit.
They just flop
Yeah.
that shit around
You
like a wet
started from
towel.
pussy, you shall end in
Bangladesh
pussy.
tied
And
to
she, like,
Taiwan, not
gobbles you up.
Bangladesh, India. It's lit.
Why
Why
is
is that
Grandpa
reminds
so
me so-
shiny? Yeah, yeah.
Did Grandpa
His
visit the
chrome
beach before he died?
You gotta moisturize before you go in the ground. It's pretty dry down there.
Oh, his wrinkles are gone.
Got miracle
Mick
pussy.
and Doplex have both worked in 6 base roles. Allow me
Yes.
to clarify. Doplex, you worked in a sex
We were
store
both
as a
Taiwanese
tester.
strippers.
Mick was an escort.
And Mick, you worked as a bouncer at a strip club, didn't you?
Oh hell
So
yeah!
I was technically a doorman. I was a
doorman, sorry,
So
yep.
what? But my job changed. So I was a doorman who checked IDs and just waited at the front door, and then eventually they brought
Then
me
a stripper.
inside. Yeah, God, I wish. And then I was just a bartender, but it was a dry bar, so it was just sodas and stuff. But my biggest job as a bartender,
sure.
dude, my biggest job as a bartender was actually the candy. So it was whatever dancer was on stage always had like
Oh,
a favorite
sure.
candy. So when she'd come off stage, she'd come to the bar and I'd have like either Sour Patch Kids or Reese's Pieces or whatever the fuck it was their favorite. And
Sure.
then they also
Yeah.
made me a lot guy. So I would have to like walk through the parking lot of the strip joint. And I would say like probably the thing that got embedded in my head the most was seeing like car seats for babies and stuff like in the lot, you know what I mean? And not that
Yeah.
look, not that you can
And like
you
the
can't,
strippers are way too big for those.
yeah. Yeah, they had their favorite candy like right next to the fucking car seat too. So just
you pair the
Uncle
car
Mick.
seats.
They run to their car seat.
Yeah, there's like car seats in the driver's seat of the cars or some shit. It's just like because you pair that with like, and then when they're done stripping, they come and get the lollipop from me, and we have such a good time. Like,
They squirt their milk in my face, and it's
they
all
were
good.
like bred for this. It's like they got like a Pavlovian fucking strip get candy, strip get candy, strip get candy.
They're like a fucking
Dude,
mice.
I went
lab
to
mice.
this is a side this is a side story, but I went to a strip joint with some friends here in California. It was the first one I went to since I worked at one. And it was a real divey fucking place. In fact, the name of the place is called Dive Bar and Strip or something. It's something like that. Starlight. Starlight.
Right to the point.
Yeah,
I'd go
right to the point. But on the
They call it vets
stage,
in the bathroom and strip.
dude, on the stage, like they had like a hole in the stage, like the stage, you know, whatever it's made out of, whatever wood or epoxy or something. But there was like this big ass
Little glory
like,
hole?
gash in the fucking thing. I hope it's not. But the girls would be dancing and their knees are like swiping, you know, like fucking Karate Kid style, like, you know, wax on, wax off. And every time they were doing that, I was looking at that spot like, please don't cheese grater your fucking knee on that spot.
Oh, God.
When they came off stage, I asked them, I was like, hey, listen, you know, because they're asking for dances after they do their one on stage. And I'm like, dude, that spot on the stage, is this like a fucking, is this a hazard? Is this a problem? And they're like, oh, we've been asking the management about this thing for like years, and they still haven't fucking fixed this thing.
Sandy still hasn't recovered.
Yeah, no, when they dance, they absolutely dance around it. And I was like, man, as a stripper, you already got so many other things you're worried about, right? Like, the last thing you worry about is fucking, like, shaving your flesh off on the stage that you're dancing on. I felt terrible.
Two strippers get into a fight, and one of them like, "This is Sparta," just kicks him into the hole on the stage.
Fucking down the hole. Edge guards them.
Shaves off a couple inches off their nose.
I don't think there can be much of anything more embarrassing than like fully getting fucking into just like stripping for someone. They're blowing fucking $1 bills out your butthole and shit, and then like it's going epic, and then you take a step back and twist your ankle in the middle of the stage, and you just fall over. You're like, your pussy's hanging out, and you're like, oh fuck, oh fuck.
I know the guy. That's when everyone really starts covering you in money.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, keep hurting yourself.
Yeah.
If I was you, I would have been like bunching up dollar bills and trying to hawk them in the hole.
Save them. Yo, but that was the other thing.
That actually reminds me.
Oh, please.
No, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was gonna say
this is your island, please.
No, I'm just saying. Hey, listen, at that place, and you guys are always welcome here. It's been a long time since I've had people around to talk to, so I've got a lot of stories to tell. But I was gonna say on that night where there was those strippers here in Cali, I'd never seen it before because I guess when I was working the door or the bar, it wasn't like people throwing money at the stage. It was always during the dances where they got their money. And so when I went to this place, this was definitely like one of those places where you throw money at the stage. So after you can either put it like in their, you know, like in their underwear or whatever. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, they'll shake their ass in your face and you shove it right in their crack. All that kind of stuff. You just swipe your fucking
like a coin
ATM
slot.
card. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they got like an RFID chip in their butt.
That's like why was that not in Cyberpunk?
Yeah, but the thing was I'd never seen like people just throw dollar bills at a stage. And there was definitely this dude, and I'm not trying to be mean. This was the most awkward, lanky, fucking weird ass dude.
Yeah.
He looked greasy, and he had the long hair, and he had like a weird pose in front of the stage, and it was you. And I wasn't trying to name people, but she had her ass at the stage, like doing her dance, and he was doing like the money flipping thing, like right at her ass. But it was $1 bills, and in that moment, I was just like, oh yeah, dive bar strip. Okay, this makes sense. Yeah, but I've never seen that.
But if it just
can
been
you
like
imagine
pennies,
somebody
dude, like,
splashing?
just like pennies,
just chucking pennies at you, chucking pennies at
Well,
your ass.
that's the funny thing about like here
Like
in New
James
Zealand
at
and
the theater.
Australia, our smallest bill is a $5 bill. So if you go to strip clubs, you're either throwing $5 minimum
or coins at them.
Or we've got $1 coins. So I just imagine fucking beating the chicks in the face.
Just all the Australian strip clubs, you just walk in, all the girls look like They all look like cheetahs because they're just like
Yeah, they got like
Every single one.
You know what they should do? You know those fucking things where it's like a big like plastic like cone that goes down. You put your money in and it goes.
Oh yeah.
I should have like a strip of pole at the bottom of like a giant one of those, and you can like put the coin in the slot, and it like so there's just at any one point like $50 worth of coins spinning round the
Yeah,
strip.
there's like a
And if
really
you
shitty
get it in her
animatronic
pussy,
at
you
the
win the
bottom of
prize.
pussy.
Yeah.
No, there's like a really
Exactly.
shitty Chuck E.
Like
Cheese
Taco Bell.
animatronic that like every time a coin goes in its pussy, it goes like, oh!
And then you win the prize.
It tells you your fortune.
Oh,
I see
pussy
bright
of the
things
north,
ahead.
what is my future?
Hey,
Like,
we're
do you see
back.
where you are, man? Your life is not going very far.
Bro,
Yeah.
just fucking
Aw.
kill yourself.
Damn. Hoping for something better.
I've been to I've been to many a strip club in my time. Not by choice. I mean, a couple times by choice, but it was mostly just like as a gag with like some buddies.
I don't want to see it.
but,
Not by
uh,
choice.
Guys, it's just a gag. I don't want to see
Wasn't by
movies.
choice. Not by choice.
Well, wouldn't it be
let me-
funny if I got $300 out
explain.
of the ATM right now? Just
me
like,
explain.
I don't even like it. It's just stupid.
Let me explain.
I hate women.
Let me explain. So I feel like I've told this story before. I don't remember where, but like when I lived in Mexico, if I wanted to buy weed, I had to go to a strip club in downtown
that's
TJ,
right.
and
You get it out of the
it
pussy.
sucked because
TJ?
Yeah, well, it sucked because like, keep in mind, I was like a 15-year-old
Tijuana.
kid, like in a strip club in
VJ.
Tijuana, and like one time there was this stripper. James, you were talking about like how embarrassing it would be for like a stripper to be doing her thing, and then some shit goes wrong. Well, she was like, I was literally the only person in this strip club. It was like fucking
That's
empty.
the fucking-
So like
That's so awkward.
it was the most awkward shit ever. And then
did
like
you
David,
know
all these
this
strippers
movie?
are coming over to me. All these strippers are coming over to me. They're all like dancing, like trying to be all sexy. And like one chick got really fucking ballsy, and she like got on the table in front of me, and she starts doing like the catwalk thing. She's like, "Oh, yeah, look at my boobs," and she flips her hair, and her fucking wig goes flying across the room, and she is bald as shit. And like, I was like,
scuttles
oh
away.
my god. And she like ran away like embarrassed like after her fucking lost wig.
And then she tripped on the hole in the stage.
the wig
Trolled head and been like,
the
"I like
wig
it."
like grew legs and started running up the wall. Finally, I'm free.
So wait, did nobody care? Like, how are you the only person in the strip club and nobody goes, "That's a kid"?
Because
Hey, you shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fucking,
Yeah, they don't care.
Also,
they literally served me a margarita while I waited for the dude to.
Mexico's
How-
lit.
Yeah, how do you get the weed though from the strip joint? Is it like they do a lap dance and while they're rubbing their tits in your
was
face,
in her weave.
They're like, yeah,
they
like
slip
falls
you? Yeah,
out into
she
his
takes
pocket.
off
Yeah,
her
they
wig
fart
and
it out
pulls
in your
out all the
hand.
weed and then fucking gives it to
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a whole
Her hair
hydroponic system.
falls off,
over
and
there.
she's like, "My weed."
Well, there's these dudes that stand outside and they all have like little children's bikes for some reason, and like they tell us
fucking green.
yeah,
You were
like,
painting quite a
pretty
picture.
Much, yeah, they got. Yeah, like specifically this guy, he had like a Batman bicycle that still had like training wheels on it, and
That's
like
fucking sick.
so I gave him $20 and he bikes off. And, well, at first he's like, "You got to go in the strip club and order a drink."
Those some evil Knievel bikes, like the little.
Just give him money. Yeah, exactly. He's just like, you give him money.
he
and he's
wheelies
just like,
off.
he's like down the street, just really slow, like a fucking Napoleon Dynamite shot or something.
Yeah.
I just imagine you're in this fucking strip club. You're the only person in there. There's like 5 fucking strippers, and they're all like everyone's doing something different. One's throwing their ass in your face. One's their wigs falling off. They're clawing on the table. The other one's like trying to get like under the seat and like finger your butt. And you're just sitting there like,
Yeah, or rob me.
I'm not here for the gag. Like I don't even.
I'm here
like,
for weed.
Women are like,
I don't even.
I don't even like.
I just
this
came
one.
for weed.
He's just like, he's like pushing it down. It's like, I don't even care
He's
about
like,
boobies. I'm just
women,
here for the
like,
weed,
this
dude.
is a gag. Strip clubs are like they don't even like women like.
My
Girls are
closest
icky.
experience to that is like I went to a strip club once because my friend worked there, much like you, Mick. He worked in the kitchen though, which had some funny stories there too. Because like he worked in the kitchen but like out the back, so that the girls didn't really see him much. And
Yeah.
there'd be times he'd be like chilling at the bar eating his like break lunch, and they'd come up and try and like proposition a dance to him, and he's like, "I work here." But anyway,
That's a
we
conflict
went
of
there once
interest.
and like. We missed out on missed out the time, so like we thought he was free at like 2 a.m. but he wasn't 3 till 3 a.m. or something. So we're like, oh fuck, we're in the middle, like the strip club's in the middle of nowhere, so we'll just stay here and have an overpriced beer. And obviously we got harassed by girls non-stop.
Of
We said
course,
to be like,
of course.
so
Yeah,
I'm just here
yeah.
for my friend. But I remember going to the bathroom, and there was just cum all over the wall. And I was like, of course, though, you're literally paying to get blue balls. Of course, there's going to be cum
They
as soon
roll
as
down
they
with a paint
can.
roller. It's like varnish.
It's just people emptying out their fucking pants. They just take them off and go, and the cum goes all over the wall.
No, they come in their hand and then they aggressively just go.
Yeah, no.
They come in their
Like
head
a
and they
fucking
slap it on the
Jackson
wall.
Pollock. They're just.
Blue ball it is.
That's like the fucking Dark Brotherhoods.
And I do wonder, like, you get like a weird like tint. It's like a weird epoxy tint of like yellowish to really white, like bleach white. Just kind of.
It's so nasty.
You got like a
take
jelly
a-
consistency.
Yeah, legend has it if you turn on a black light in that room, you go fucking blind. It's like looking at the sun.
Just get flashbang.
You get
Imagine that. So
cum
they're like, we can save tons of money on lighting this place if we just put a black light up here instead of a normal light bulb, and then the walls can do the rest of the work.
Hey, turn the bath light on, the black light on in the bathroom, and open the door. The whole fucking entire strip club just fucking lights up.
Yeah.
So, all right, every time to leave. Cum lights on.
Feces thrown
all over the walls.
It
Stunk so bad.
So, fellas, I'm so glad you guys got here. Holy fuck. It's been amazing to have you guys here. I gotta say, I've been away for a long time. I'm
Hell
curious,
yeah.
what the fuck is even happening in the world right now? I've really been super out of the loop. I have very little idea. The last thing I remember was there was an election, and some people seemed happy and some people weren't. I think
Obama won.
Other than that, I have no idea what's been going on. Is there some like topical shit that's actually fucking happened that's interesting, or is it just the same old fucking bullshit?
Surprisingly, not really.
Ninja is suing Pokimane.
Ninja's
Ninja's
fighting
wife is suing
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
His brother's wife.
I'm actually surprised both those names come up in this year, but
You and I both.
Still here?
They're kind of like if you shout in like a big hall, like they just kind of keep bouncing back, but a little
Yeah.
quieter each time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like Bloody Mary. If you say it 3 times in a mirror, then drama happens.
if you make 3 drama videos about them, they're relevant again, and then boom, they're like right on the
Yeah.
thing.
Exactly.
Do you reckon in the future there'll be like a crypto that's like drama coin, where like depending
Yes.
on like which people have the most drop? Because you have to think like people like Keemstar, Keemstar,
Keep going.
Keemstar, those sort of people really profit off like certain names like Pokemon or whatever being like, because there's certain names that's like that's going to guarantee clicks. So people like him would like invest in people making drama from those people.
Yeah. Is there like
Yeah.
like
Get your
a
King
fantasy football league, but for fucking
Yeah,
drama,
exactly.
like YouTube drama. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
who's gonna get called out? Who's gonna fucking like do some fucking Yeah. All that shit. Like,
Where are we gonna do that this year?
makes sense.
Pedophile.
Where are we
Invest
gonna,
in
are we gonna do
Bitcoin, boys. We're going to
we
the
gonna do,
moon.
Where are we
Which of
gonna
us
like
four are
bet
gonna
on who's
have it?
gonna die this year or some shit? Kudos, didn't you?
Oh,
bring that up?
yeah.
We could do
That's
that
my
right
still
now.
thinking My friends do a thing called the D list, where at the start of the year, each person round
not what
robin
it sounds
style picks
like.
5 names, and then the way it
Okay.
works is, you take you guess who's going to die. Again, it's not who you want to die, but just who you think might die, and then if they die, you get a score based on 100 minus their age. So if you guess like fucking the
Okay,
Queen,
that makes
99
sense.
years old or whatever, you're gonna get 1 point. Not pretty safe bet that could happen. But if you guess like, I don't know, some
Jojo
random,
Siwa.
like XXX Tentacion,
Right.
or Jojo Siwa, 21 years old, that's,
Joe Biden.
you know,
Let's do that right now. Come on. Let's do it right now.
Let's
Now,
age
Rob,
this
really
episode so
starting-
terribly.
really quick, and this is going to make it even worse, and you can cut this part out if you want, but do you get extra points if you kind of guess like whether it's
How?
a self-induced,
Yeah.
a accidental, or it just
Mr.
like
Nick
this.
Lauer, suicide
Well,
on November 14th. And he's gonna, I'm gonna win. As if I'm
get
gonna
extra
kill
points
myself, at least
if
I'm gonna
you
win the
think-
D list.
You know what? Scratch my idea. Just scratch my idea. That's a terrible idea.
That's the other rule. You can't pick someone who has like terminal illness. Like you can't pick someone who's
that's
definitely
fair,
on the
that's
way
fair.
out. Has to be someone who's like all good.
Let's do this right now.
All right, let's do it.
Starting with Mick. Mick,
We'll just pick one name each.
Yeah,
to make
one
it quick, so
name
start
each.
with
We'll
Mick.
revisit this in the special at the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Mick, who do you
obviously,
think's
if it
gonna
ends
die?
up happening, I'm going to feel like a fucking shitlord. You know,
That's
like I
the
wanted
truth.
it to
Yeah,
happen.
we're
I don't
all
want it
in
to
this
happen.
together.
Yeah.
Again, we don't
we-
want this to happen. Just clarify that. This is
we
just
do
already did
shot
this
in the
to
dark.
happen.
we already, literally like a few episodes ago, we had a question asking us if we would dropkick Betty White. And I verbatim said that she's lived long enough, and then she died. So technically, I should already have a point, but anyway, Mick, go
Hey, yo,
ahead.
Betty, I said I would lick the toilet for you. Just remember that.
All right, I'm gonna pick.
Sorry, Betty.
And it would bum me out, but I'm gonna pick Al Pacino.
Okay.
That's obscure enough that I think that might happen.
Yeah.
Let's do youngest to oldest. So I think we'll go James, Andrew, Doplex, and me.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, now I gotta think of somebody.
I was hoping I could just ride this one out for an hour.
Fucking Ellen.
Ooh,
Ellen.
interesting.
Ooh,
Damn, okay.
okay.
All right.
All right.
You know how they keep doing like Lion King IRL, Tarzan IRL? They do Finding Nemo IRL, and someone
And she
like she's
drowns.
really mean to someone on the crew, and they fuck with her scuba gear, and she fucking dies.
I still think it's CG though. I don't think she's actually.
No, she's the IRL Dory. They just put her in like a really bad costume. And they put her in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, it's somebody. No. It's like
torpedo gun to backfire.
it's definitely somebody on the crew that is
Yeah,
like really
yeah.
angsty about how she treated her team, and they're
Exactly,
like, "This is
yeah.
how we get back at her for hiring non-union
Yeah, they
people
put rocks in
for
her
her show."
oxygen
Yeah.
It's a oxygen tank.
They just replace it with the shit that they give they have at dentist's office to put you to sleep. She's down there, just sinks like a
She's
rock.
just laughing. Yeah, she's just like fucking laughing her way to death under fucking water.
Straight to the bottom. They're like, I think she's gone.
We
What's
don't want this to
happy, though?
happen.
Like, let's
We
just
don't
leave
want this
it,
to
you know.
happen.
No, yeah. I don't want Ellen to die. I just thought it'd be funny.
No.
Okay, but that's
we're
my
clear.
pick.
We're clear. Yes.
Okay.
I was gonna
Andrew
say
does want
Kevin
his one to
Spacey.
die.
I was gonna say Kevin Spacey, but I feel like Kevin Spacey's gonna
Saying.
live forever just because
Yeah,
of how
I think so,
terrible he
too.
is.
Yeah,
He's gonna be
he's
like
gonna keep-
110 and still
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
people murdered.
Death's gonna show up at his door and then mysteriously like kill itself 2 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say 2 weeks after this podcast comes out, you're dead, dude. I'm sorry. And then
It's just happened.
yeah, and then
This
he's
is
gonna
the
make
Death Note.
he's gonna make a creepy like online video just talking about like, you know, he's gonna be
Hey,
carving
Twitter
up
world.
like some fucking turkey and be like, oh yeah. I know some people like to make jokes about me on podcasts, but hey, check out this beef I'm cutting, you know.
And you just see a banana Hawaiian shirt like hung up in the background.
Yes.
I mean, I gotta say,
On
being
a
the
meat
main
hook.
topic of Kevin Spacey's Christmas Eve video, I'd kind of be honored. I'd be scared shitless, but I'd be like,
Right.
I made it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'll
Now
go
you gotta
with
go into
fucking Mitch McConnell, and I actually do want that to happen.
I agree.
Actively
I'm on board.
preying on his downfall.
L plus ratio, you fell
In
off.
Minecraft. In Minecraft.
In
Oh,
Minecraft
yeah, right.
with like really realistic graphics.
I will say that with Mitch McConnell, just so your podcast doesn't appear to be politically motivated, I would say that with Mitch McConnell, I wouldn't be surprised if Nancy Pelosi followed shortly after. I just feel like there's almost like a yin and yang. Like they exist to antagonize each other to a degree.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
once one is gone, it's kind of like the purpose of the life of the other.
They
Yeah,
fall
like
out
a
of the
human
tower like
centipede.
Right. Yeah.
They fall
Yeah.
out of the tower like the Mounts and the Hound at the end of Game of Thrones.
Exactly. All right, Doplex.
Doplex?
I'm gonna. Pains me to say this, but something in my
Andrew.
brain is telling
Wait,
one
what?
of us. You decide. I'm gonna say Kevin Smith.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know why.
Okay.
Is that the guy that wears the
My
Islanders
brain is
jersey?
telling me Kevin Smith. Yeah, he's the crying dude. Silent
The
Bob.
comic
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
That
Oh,
is
not
Kevin Smith,
Kevin
right?
He's about to be
Bro.
very silent.
What about Kevin
Yeah.
James?
I was gonna say Kevin James, but my brain was like, nah, Kevin Smith.
You were
I
just about
love
all
all
the
the things you
this
could have
point.
referenced. You're like the crying guy.
Silent Bob, the crying guy. You know the movie The Crying Guy? Jay and the crying guy.
My favorite one.
I have a runner-up. This one is dark, so I feel bad even saying it. The comedian, he was on SNL. He's that lanky, younger-looking dude. He dated Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, that guy.
Pete Davidson.
Oh,
I don't want him to die.
See, that Kanye's going to get to him.
I don't.
yeah, Kanye's gonna get there.
I just feel like his
P. Davison.
The clock is ticking on that.
Pete's going to be...
Yeah, no, I want nothing bad to happen to the guy. His dad, 9/11, all that shit. Like, I think he seems like a decent dude. I don't know him, but for some reason, the guy's like, I feel like he's always
Those bags under his eyes.
Yeah, and he's always in drama that seems like bigger than him. Like I feel like he's stuck in the situation.
Way bigger than
With
him.
Illuminati motherfuckers, and he's just like some dude.
And his butthole eyes get bigger in every fucking paparazzi fucking picture.
And I keep wondering, like, how is this guy involved in this or this or this? And I'm just, I hope it doesn't.
That might be
end
a
in
based
that, but
call. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, that might be a crazy out of left field.
That would be like the curveball of a lifetime if like Nick actually got that right.
No, I wouldn't be proud of
Davidson.
it. I'd be upset. Yeah, no, I don't want that to happen.
All right. But my pick is, again, despite everything, don't want it to happen, but I'm going to say Jake Paul. I reckon he's starting to take slightly too many blows to the head, and I reckon he's going to, that thing that like NFL players get?
Yeah,
where they like...
CTE.
$1 million baby
like,
himself.
CTE.
What's yeah, what is it called? Where they get that like that brain damage where they start getting really violent.
Right in that one
and,
lobe.
like,
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I reckon he's gonna start getting there, and then he's gonna like have like a shootout in the streets of LA or something with the IRS.
That'd be
something
fucking
fuck's
epic,
Suicide by cop after killing his brother.
like something
That'd be
fuck's gonna happen,
fucking
or he's gonna like. There's some talks about him fighting Mike Tyson. Like Mike Tyson's gonna like bang his head up like those rock and sock robots. Like his head's gonna like shoot out. Like
he's gonna crush his skull into itself. Yeah, his head's gonna implode.
Mike Tyson still punches hard as fuck. He definitely
Cage
could
Lop.
end his shit.
So,
but
y'all don't need to name anybody, but I am curious. Listen, we've been on the internet for a while, and we've seen some people go through some serious shit. Do you think that there is going to be a YouTuber at some point, a YouTuber specifically, that based on like their irrelevance is going to try, would actually go through some shit? Like, I'm gonna say what I'm saying. Do you think there's somebody who, based on wanting to be more relevant, would take their life? Now you don't need to name them. I'm just wondering if we're going to see that
shoot up
That's a good
the
question.
Google headquarters, right?
Because
Well,
there was
straight up.
It was a girl. It was a girl.
Yeah.
And
Her
she
YouTube
wasn't very
channel was,
popular
like,
to begin
ass.
with.
No,
but she wasn't
no,
very popular.
She
to
didn't
begin
fall out of relevancy, so yeah, it is a little different.
I'm talking like
I think
I'm talking like if
That's gonna
Dream
happen
or something,
eventually.
and I don't mean Dream, but like if Dream just got canceled and he put on his fucking smiley mask and went into fucking the street and just started mowing down people.
That's what the mask is.
That is what the fucking mask is, yo. He forgot his normal pills, bro.
He does the start of the Dark Knight. He does the start of the Dark Knight, except it's all like 12-year-old stands, and then they all start betraying each other in the bank heist.
I honestly feel like someone like Gabby Hanna or some shit could definitely get that bad. Like she's just deranged.
Gabby Hanna?
Full
Maybe
on.
she is the monster.
Yeah.
Dude.
No, listen,
Exactly.
I didn't want you guys to name names. I didn't want to put targets on your back. I was just saying, if you ever thought somebody would show up to VidCon because they weren't invited because they became suddenly not relevant and then just unloaded. Yeah.
There's 1,000% somebody out there who would have that fucking whatever little germ in their brain that makes them do that.
I mean, look what
As far
Alec
as who?
Baldwin did.
Wait, what? What did he do?
Famous beauty
He was
blogger
pissed
Alec
his YouTube
Baldwin.
channel didn't take him.
Fastest gun in the West.
That's so bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, victims of Alec.
Victims of Alec. The terrible tragedy of Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, it's like a new Hulu special coming like next week.
No, it's the new 9/11. We get like fucking memorable T-shirts. It's just.
What if his next movie is like him, like it's like a biopic about 9/11. He accidentally flies a plane into Twin Towers.
That's what I was thinking.
But he has to stop it with a handgun.
He didn't think the plane was loaded.
It's like, no, we were aiming for the camera like right off to the side. He just didn't get it.
I thought it was one of those like flight sims that pilots practice in, but it was just a real
They told me the plane didn't have gas
they set
in
me
it.
up. I thought it was Microsoft Windows flying fucking simulator.
He still manages to just kill one person.
Yeah, himself. That's who he ends up killing. Himself. There you go.
Oh yeah.
What? Okay,
One of us should have said Alec
really
Baldwin.
quick. Well, I was thinking fucking like after I said mine, I was like, this honestly, the safe bet would have been that bitch that just got done in for collaborating. Yeah, she did a collab with Epstein.
Ghislaine Maxwell or whatever.
Yeah, she's definitely
yeah.
getting fucking roped this year. Like,
Yeah.
I should have fucking picked her.
Oh, that would have been a safe bet. Yeah, if
Yeah, I
someone
want to change my vote. I'm changing my vote to Ghislaine Maxwell.
No, you already said yours. That was my idea.
No, you're not wrong.
How can you name your kid Ghislaine knowing they're going to grow up to traffic children? Like, that's just not... like, that's like South Park level shit.
Yeah, hey, come on down to Ghislaine. But yeah, no, as far as... like,
they
how
should
much...
name Epstein's Island that.
Do we all agree that Epstein was clearly a creepy fuck?
Based?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
I mean,
no, he's
based as fuck.
Hot take.
Well, I'm just saying that...
Here's the egg penis.
No,
do you think he was taken out?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
1,000%.
Undoubtedly.
There's no doubt in anyone's mind.
So
At the
if
bare
she was that
minimum.
Yeah, wait, at the bare minimum what?
Oh, I was gonna say at the bare
gay.
minimum, he was allowed to kill himself. Like at the very minimum.
Right.
Okay. So then,
Here's
in
a
that
handgun,
case,
Mr.
we
Epstein.
could assume that Ghislaine was.
Alec Baldwin
I mean, she had to have known what the fuck was going on.
Yeah,
and if people
yeah.
wanted him
Right.
gone, she is the next in line in terms of information. So, like when you said, like, yeah, I could see her disappearing. I would imagine that the same forces that allowed and or facilitated his passing.
I agree.
Would probably have a pretty strict eye on her too.
That's actually the next project that Mick was talking about. It's going to be called a murder suicide by Markiplier.
Yes.
they're gonna
Markiplier's playing Jeffrey.
Fucking Mick's gonna be the person that's got to go like fucking get her with the bed sheets.
Is that the handgun of '87?
What if Epstein actually like it was a suicide but like an accidental one because he like called Alec Baldwin in because they're good mates and he came in to cheer him up in prison and then Alec Baldwin's like helping him do some like exercises like if you just tie a bedsheet up here you can use it for like stretches and then like Epstein like slips and it ropes around his neck and traps and Alec's like no not again.
Now I'm curious.
They told me it was
if the
fake
government, if like the FBI or the CIA knocked on your door after this podcast was released, and they fucking knocked on your door and they said, "Hey, we caught a glimpse of the Beef Boys and we're fans," and
Thanks, dude.
We're curious.
Based.
Like we actually do kind of have plans for Ghislaine, and we were
boys
thinking
have the gusto to help us see it through.
you might be the ones to fucking pull this off. Would you? Would you accept the job to take out the Ghislaine?
Not for this.
That is an
not
excellent
for this
fucking
godforsaken
question.
country or the fucking CIA. Fuck them. But to kill a baby toucher, I'm in, bro. Let me wrap.
Isn't that just
Hold
like a
on.
weirder like version of the plot of the interview that Seth Rogen and it's like the same exact thing. Except it's our fucking dumbasses.
I love that question, but to add to it, if the CIA showed up to your door and you knew that like okay yeah of course I'd love to kill this Jizzy Laney bitch,
You'd be immune,
but
they would erase any kind of CT footage, all that kind of or CCTV footage. Like they would make sure that no one could ever trace you. It was
Cum stains,
you
gone.
carte blanche. Yeah.
But if I can add to that, because I really want to explore this. You killing her is for the greater good of covering up a lot of whatever her and her gang were doing,
That's
and like
true.
The people in the Black Book. Would you see it through for, let's say, like a pretty big payday from the Uncle Sam? Would you?
I don't know when I'm going to get the next opportunity to kill a woman and get away with it. So yeah, I'll probably take it.
Got a lot of pent up rage.
Yeah, dude.
With not realistic graphics.
I hope your lady's not listening to this. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Emily's
Mom,
right
if you're
there.
listening.
She's just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Pardon?
I'm sorry.
So, yeah, I guess the question is, okay, so, and then let me know what you think about this, and then I want to hear it and stop talking over you. So if you had a choice between either murdering her or like waterboarding her to get information, like more information about what she knew, what would you choose at that point?
Water.
Give me the towel, baby.
Oh.
No, I would kill her because I don't want to get. Was it Genghis Khan who they killed the slaves that built his grave? So they
because
couldn't
you would
find
know
it?
the information.
If you knew it, then you have now. There must always be a Jizlay, much like there must always be a Lich King, and then they'll
That's a
kill
good
you.
fucking point. That is
You
a
would
good
now
fucking
have the
point.
info, but you could just share the info.
So I
no,
think
but then
what
they
we're
want that
saying
info.
here is-
That's right. They passed it on to
Yeah.
you. Fuck. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna tell
they're
it.
killing
I'm gonna
her
tell
to
it.
yeah.
I'm gonna figure it out, and then before they can get to me, I'm gonna tell it to Joe Biden.
They're gonna say Joe
He's gonna
Rogan.
be the Lich King.
Sadly, I feel like if you shared it with Joe Biden, it would probably be taken less seriously than if you shared it with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
I feel like
That's-
they either think it was like
You're spitting,
word
bro.
salad or something. Yeah,
In this
Yeah,
society.
Joe Rogan would be like, 100,000 kids, really? JB, pull up the video with the monkey.
Jamie.
Pull it up.
Pull up you said it. You know how big a moose is, Jamie?
Pull up the
Like,
child.
I'm talking about an international pedophile ring, Joe.
really
Please,
fucking big.
listen to me.
No, but
That's
moose-
fascinating.
Pull it up, Jamie.
Well, okay, Mick, you made me think there. You mentioned being on a list.
Yeah.
As a result of this podcast, I have sometimes wondered. So, I'm a massive fan of CBK, but I think I've talked about this in the past. But we haven't actually introduced Mick yet.
That's really true.
We are
That's
an hour
our
into this
vibes.
podcast, and we've not introduced
We're the
him.
best hosts ever.
Mick has done 7 things, and he'll name them all for you later. But one of my first real
They're
introduction
hidden
to Mick,
around the
outside
Beef
of
Island.
Newgrounds back in the day, where I was an obsessive lurker, was Sleepy Cabin, which I have listened to religiously and have managed to hide on a network at a company that does work for a major entertainment company. So there is officially Sleepy Cabin on the servers of a company that rhymes
Ghislaine
with
Maxwell.
wait.
Wait a minute.
Couldn't he bleep that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so listen to that a lot. And I know, and you guys talked about some things. and CB Cabin was a massive inspiration for me. And obviously this has been a full way effort, but one of the reasons I wanted to, start doing this in the first place was I just loved the work you guys did on that, and easily would say it's one of the things that inspired me to start making content. My question is, do you think you're genuinely on a list, or some of the other guys are? Because I know Zach has said in one of the episodes he think he might be on a list after some of the shit you guys said on some of the episodes.
Well, aside from that lovely blowjob, thank you. I will say that
Suck it
Play the
up,
grapefruit.
Oh yeah.
in terms of being on a list, I don't know,
There it
man.
is.
A little late there.
Maybe at this point I feel like it's hard for me after the Snowden interview and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure all of us at some point have said enough triggering words that our devices are now monitoring certain
I think you mean
things.
Snowden on Sleepy Cabin.
No.
For a second, I was like, damn, I missed that one.
That was a really good interview, though.
How'd you clutch that?
It's a shame that episode got deleted.
It did. Well, yeah, we didn't have a choice in that, but no. In terms of if there are triggering things, I will say that Zach's nature is to. He's a very smart guy, and he talks and thinks about a lot of political, geopolitical situations, and I wouldn't be surprised if people were listening in. I don't think he's said anything damning. I think if anything, he's just said things that were like intuitive and
Based.
that can be scary. I mean, that's even scarier, right? Like if you're just some like fruitcake fucking spitting off random conspiracy theories, I don't think anyone's gonna give a fuck. But if you start saying things that are like based in research and based in like an actual passion in history, and you're saying it publicly, even if you're joking, there's the potential for something like that.
There's one episode where he says a joke about shooting. He says like talking about shooting the president. And I think he gives a date as well. I think maybe that was like that was probably what might have.
That's fucking epic.
If there was anything, it would have been that one. To be fair, very funny bit.
I feel like, ancient philosophers would have thought about the dangers of a man who can pull people in with fart jokes and cum jokes and stuff. But then,
you're just describing Jesus.
Radicalize
Confucius.
them.
Yes. Jesus.
There's something really dangerous about a guy. You can get a fruitcake here pulling in like idiots off like 4chan and shit.
Sure.
But like you can get a man that pulls in the masses with comedy and then injects them with fucking based knowledge. I mean, there's nothing more.
And Jesus said,
more dangerous.
Yo, dude, if like PewDiePie had like another agenda, if he had like a political agenda, he could absolutely wreck some serious fucking havoc if he really wanted to. You know what I mean? Like that exists, and I think that's actually why I think the media, besides being jealous of his views and attention, I think that there is a fear. There's a fear of people who grow to a certain size that they have this influence. Again, I do think for the media, it is a lot more jealousy than anything else. But I think with somebody who gains that much attention, which is why I do think it's good that people, keep tabs on folks and stuff. But on a very innocent side note, even innocent things that people say, and I'm not like an anti-dream guy. I just remember this because, again, I've been on this island for fucking ever in this box. My knowledge is very limited. But I just remember there was something about how like all of his fans, he loved them like kittens or some shit like that. I don't know. I remember something like that. And that kind of, I feel like when you have that kind of audience and that kind of parasocial relationship, you absolutely could hit the big red button anytime you want and just launch the sleeper cell of whatever agenda you have. You know what I mean? If you really wanted to. And I'm not saying he does. I'm just saying like that power is a very dangerous thing.
We're gonna kill the president of the United States.
Well, dude, like at Dream's peak last year, like he very realistically could have at least wiped out a couple schools. I believe if he really was driven enough and fucking I was gonna do the rock.
If he had the grind set,
if he had the grind set,
if he had drive, if he had power,
if he had drive and he had power, he could have wiped out at least like a couple fucking middle schools. Like he would, he definitely has that pull.
Yeah, I mean, same with PewDiePie. Joe Biden would have shat himself if he was like, "Goodbye, bros. Seize the means of production."
Exactly.
That's kind of the funny thing, because so many people are quick to like label PewDiePie as like he's a hard alt-right like Trump's, like people slap all these labels on him, but it's like he if he people like that are not very subtle about it. It's not like he's planting the
That's usually their whole thing.
Yeah, it's
usually if that is their agenda,
Yeah, exactly. I feel like he's just some dude. I don't think he has any greater like aspirations in terms of
well, he just has, like Mick said, he just has so much influence that it's like people want to read up into everything he says, it's coming from a place of like dogma, or because he has the ability to have the influence but isn't trying to use the influence, but like people are trying to read into how he is trying to use it type beat. So like they just give so much more fucking like power to his words, even though he's just like trying to be funny.
Like if he went to like a McDonald's and his order got fucked up and he just told like a story about like, man, I went to McDonald's and they fucked up my order. I feel like it was personal, like they didn't like my content. I could imagine like McDonald's across the globe in flames. You know what I mean? Just like you can see the dots on the map.
Hashtag
like,
firebomb for PewDiePie.
McDonald's is not part of the bro army.
No, we love.
They're not a 19-year-old.
We love PewDiePie besties.
I also think it's dangerous to ever label your fan base as an army. I'm not faulting him. I know that he was just trying to create like a name for it, like power to him.
Right.
But man, in
That's
retrospect,
why here we have the beef paramilitary
Army.
the beefy individuals,
Navy SEALs.
We have the beef thin blue line.
Yeah, exactly.
The thin beef line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back the beef.
Someone design us a thin beef line shirt.
Talking about the beef gorilla thin beef line paramilitary forces, they had some questions for old Mick.
They did actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's read some questions.
Pull 'em up.
There's a link to the beef cord somewhere. But
beef
you have to
cord.
find it. We don't want to make it too easy.
yeah. You got to work for it.
Oh, the pinned comment. There you go. So we've got a few questions here.
Children.
This first one is from Velvet Voice, and he says, is it socially acceptable to enjoy something and or have positive nostalgia for shows or movies with cancelled celebrities in them? Example,
Ooh, that's a
someone
good
goes
question.
up watching The Cosby Show and has fond memories of it, but gets called out because of the events surrounding Bill Cosby in today's society. So I suppose this is a
Wait,
question
what did he
about,
do? What did Bill Cosby do?
Last I checked,
What
he
did
was
he
out
do
of jail. So
yeah.
He gobbled up too much fucking pudding.
another example
I'm sorry,
is
the man likes pudding. So
Yeah.
what? And women, whatever.
I don't know why, but the way you said that, like how angry you were, just reminded me of like Ryan from Super Mega just being like, "What the fuck did he do? What did Bill Cosby do, you bitch?" Fucking. Well, I think that you can definitely enjoy stuff like that because right now I'm watching Full House and God just canceled the shit out of.
no, not my boy.
Holy crap!
No.
Dude, holy crap!
Jokes aside,
Olsen twins.
I am rewatching Full House right now because I love Bob Saget. The Cosby Show's a hard one because it's like.
It's so integral to him.
It's him,
Like,
like
he's
it's
not just,
fucking
like, a part
named
of it,
after him, you know,
Yeah.
like.
Right.
But I'm trying to think of
and it's
another
like-
example where there's
Michael
like
Richards.
Seinfeld, yeah.
Seinfeld is Kramer.
Yes.
Yeah, well, even
Oh yeah,
then,
people still love the shit out of Kramer. or
Yeah,
Seinfeld.
absolutely.
Yeah.
As a character, I think that, like, first of
Yeah.
all, asking that question, if you have to ask other people whether or not it's okay to like something, I'm not trying to be mean to the question asker, but I'm just like, dude, make up your own mind. Like, that's up to you. Whether
I agree.
Yeah.
And like whether or not
that's
it's
a good
socially acceptable, like if your friends or like society's gonna be okay with it, it's like, you know, whatever, man. That's gonna change with time.
You live in one. I mean, did you watch The Joker?
In 2 decades,
how it goes.
someone could watch in like 20 years, because people have a fairly short memory. You know, you could watch Seinfeld and see Kramer on stage, and no one will know anything about the drama. They'll just see the character and they'll enjoy the show that they're watching.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that
Like that'll live on much more than his one scandal.
Right.
In the minds of the people. Yeah.
Right. In those scenarios, what you're watching is not necessarily that person. You're watching a story.
Yeah.
You're watching other characters. You're watching a whole lot of things happening.
Yeah.
Now, in a scenario where like maybe, oh, I was reading the books of, or I loved the podcast of this one particular person, and then it turns out he was like, you know, a homophobic, racist cannibal who, you know, raped people all the time, then now the context maybe of some of the things that I was like connecting with, that might be a little colored a little bit, you know, like that might be a little like, maybe I wasn't.
I call it the lost profit scale because, like, on one hand you've got like people like say Kanye West who are like have done questionable things, but ultimately innocent, maybe just a bit weird. And I'm a big Kanye West fan, but regardless of how he is as a person, I love his his music and his
I think
art.
Kanye West.
But on the other hand, you got like
yeah.
lost profits, where it's like I don't think I could look past the crimes of the was it the lead singer?
Like
So-
I was a really big fan. Like for example, if I was a really big fan of Epstein's financial trading skills,
His album.
and his hot mixtape, like all that stuff, and then it's like, oh no, that's what that song meant, you know. Now all of a sudden it's a little bit different.
I don't want you to traffic children.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's what I was gonna say too. To build on that is like, depends on how much like they're really inside the art. You know, like Kramer.
Right.
sure, he's a comedian and the guy, or like he's funny and the guy in real life is a comedian, but beyond that, the similarities kind of end. So like, it's like you can watch that and it's like, you know, who the fuck cares? It's Kramer, but like it's just an actor, you know. But if you go to like, you know, a podcast or like, especially like YouTubers and stuff, where it's like someone's making fucking video essays and then it turns out they're like a pedophile, fucking rapist, murderer, and it's like, well, you know, how much if their whole platform is built on their opinion and like their personality, right, and they're not really playing any part or you know, like it's like at that point you can definitely feel dissociated from their content. Right. You know, it just depends on how many levels of separation there are.
On YouTube as well, I suppose it's like it's so much more direct in that by watching their videos you are monetarily supporting them directly. You are giving them money by watching their thing. So like in a sense, like you could argue the same about like, you know, TV shows and movies, and there's definitely like I used to love The Pianist, and then I found out it was made by Roman Polanski, so I haven't watched that movie since because I don't want to, like, even if the 2 cents that Netflix gives them when I watch it, like I know that doesn't mean anything, but like I still just don't want to add that number to the list, I suppose. So there's certain things like that where it's like not so much an integrity thing because I can still appreciate the art for what it is. It's more just like I don't want to give them money, I suppose.
I think it definitely depends on the severity of what the person did and how and how that would affect directly what it is they did. Because like I've always been of the mind of like separate the art from the artist. Like there's a lot of like bands I listen to that I've listened to since like, you know, fucking high school that like eventually came out that like, oh, the drummer of that band you know, had relations with like a 16-year-old or something, you know. And like, I'm not gonna stop listening. He's just the drummer, you know. I'm not listening to it like, oh man, these drums really speak
just throw
to
a high pass
my
on
inner
it, cut all the drums
pedophile, you
out.
know, like.
God, I love the drummer of this. I hope he isn't a pedophile.
He's just playing the drums and they're just like toned where you can like almost create vocal sounds. It's like, I am a pedophile.
And you're like, oh, of course. It was so obvious.
Play it backwards.
Pedophile. Yeah.
Pedophile.
Anyway, good question. Let's move on.
Can I just ask you one personal question from
Please.
me?
Anything.
I don't want to be like too blunt, but like, what is Markiplier's favorite drink? To your knowledge.
I'll tell you. Markiplier's favorite drink is not to drink. He doesn't really drink anymore. The only thing I will say that probably, I don't know if it's been shared, is that so we did a shoot for his project that's coming out either this month or next
hell
month.
yeah. I thought you were joking about that. That's actually epic.
Oh no. He's been showing teasers and stuff. He hasn't put a date on it. So again, I don't know the date, and I'm not going to say the date because I don't know it. But
but that's I'm glad you're back in it. That's epic
Right now.
Yeah. After every day of shooting, most of the days, we ended up going back to his place with the cast and just kind of like looking at footage and just kind of shooting the shit and just hanging out, whatever. But I got to, you know, I drink a lot.
Yeah.
And
He drink.
And so, you know,
drinking.
at some point I was like, you know, he's hanging out with some of the people he's known since like college, like back in the day. And so I started asking, like, you know, what was it like? What were you guys doing? And apparently there was a period of time when Mark was quite the partier. He was definitely a party dude. So the
Marky Party.
Definitely some like, whoa, I did not expect that kind of stuff. So he's definitely had his party days.
Heroin.
I'm happy. Maybe. I'm not going to say
He
no.
called them five nights at Marky's.
Yeah. So some of his friends, who I won't name because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but they were definitely fans of whiskey. So that was one of those things, like I was on set with these people for like a month and nobody drank, but I drank all the time. And then finally, like the last day, it was like, hey, you guys are all going back. And it was like, and after we kind of shared stories throughout the time, and it was like, yo, what if this last night, you know, we just
it's like the lighthouse.
Let's just party a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Like the lighthouse, he finally breaks.
Do you
and he's
like me,
yeah.
whiskey boy?
And we were dancing.
You're telling me you don't like me, lobster?
Fucking
Markiplier's jerking off to like the statue of a mermaid.
Yeah. You get the jizz wall all over again. The jizz lane.
Markiplier's jizz lane.
But yeah, I from what I can garner, it was probably, I mean, definitely some beer back in the day, but I would say from what his friends drank, and I assume he drank with his friends, it would have been some kind of whiskeys and stuff like that. But that's rumor. I'm not confirming any of this.
I don't think you'll find that information anywhere else on the internet. So
exactly, this is why people tune in. I should one more quick question, just because our dear friend of the show, Tom Videoga, he did ask a very good question. It's actually related to what you do, Mick. So it's probably good to cover that in some small way while you're on here, not just the jizz lane.
Whatever you need.
He says, "Get it, Mick." He says, "What were the differences between the VO notes for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure versus Smiling Friends?"
So Smiling Friends was done very much like how Zach does his YouTube cartoons, where I think that's why he liked working with people he knew for the most part, because the way that he would normally do it is he had like the script and then he had some like basic ideas of things, but there's a lot of back and forth because if you think about like Zach's content, it tends to be there's a very specific style to it. And so he knows exactly
it's very human.
Yeah, and he knows exactly what he's looking for. Whether it is human or cartoonish, he knows exactly what he's looking for. He's the showrunner, he's the writer, it's his vision. And so when you voice for it, there's no shortage of fucking like notes. He trusts you. And especially people that have worked with him in the past, because he knows they can get over that honeymoon phase. They can just get right into it. But with JoJo, we had Tony Oliver as the director, and he's a great voice director, but obviously he didn't create JoJo. And to be perfectly frank, I was a much bigger fan and much more knowledgeable of the series than he was. He's a vocal director, so he's more knowledgeable in terms of like performances and how they read and all that kind of stuff. So I have to give him credit for that. I give him a lot of credit for that. But there were definitely times when he'd bring up certain situations where in my head I was like, that's not really the context of this scene. And
sure.
I'm gonna take your notes and I'm gonna try to finagle what I believe needs to happen into this. That said, I couldn't be happier with what he did. I think he has a good ear. He has a great ear, and he's a great director. So I was very happy to work with him. And there were times when I actually vocalized like, yo, I feel like this scene, can we redo that? Because this scene is really important in like the JoJo verse. Like I know fans are really going to care about this scene. And I really feel like if we can hone in on this, that's going to be helpful. And he was never like, fuck off, dude, my word is law.
Well, it's cool he was open to that, He
was. He absolutely was.
Exactly.
He was. Though, if you do it too much, you become that actor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You become the actor that's like, let's do one more take. Let's do that. Because a lot of times they're on the clock and they're like, listen, it was fine. It works. It's going to work. But because JoJo was personal to me, I felt like I had to kind of weigh in on that.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it was very different experiences. So it's a great question. But I loved both of them, and I think the results for both of them, I'm very happy with how both of them turned out.
Absolutely, No, you killed it in both of them. So, Slippy Dongbag, regular of the show.
Regular.
What's a never again drink of yours? I used to get fucked up on Four Locos when I was in a very dark place, and my rage was untethered and knew no bounds.
I would also say Four Locos. Four Locos are at the center of like all the worst nights of my life. At least they're attached to drinking.
I heard Four Loko came back with a more family-friendly recipe that wasn't like
Loco.
Yeah, it wasn't crack and fucking adrenaline or whatever it was.
Their first recipe in like the early 2000s straight up killed people because there's there was so much caffeine still in it. It's like it was crazy.
I feel like I've met a lot of people who went to the hospital because of typically drinking Four Loko and smoking weed like in the same night. Like that's it, just those two things, and they're in the hospital because the fucking whatever.
And those are the ones that survive. Just so you know.
Exactly.
I love straight rum, but I've definitely it's been the tipping point for a lot of nights for me.
I like gay rum.
Eased up on that because it's usually like I'll be minced and then it's 3 a.m. and I'm like, give me a rum on the rocks, and I'll take one sip of it, and my stomach will be like, give me a
Rub on the cock.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a phase where I didn't want tequila for a very long time because I got alcohol poisoning in Acapulco from a guy who clearly was trying to harvest me and my ex-wife's organs. That's a story for a different time, but it's absolutely something that happened.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? I kind of want to hear that story.
That sounds like a story for right now, maybe.
If you really want to hear it, I can tell it. But
I do kind of want to hear it.
I do kind of want to hear that.
Yeah, this story.
Yeah.
So essentially, my ex-wife and I, we went on a trip through Mexico, and one of our stops.
It was Doplex.
It was Doplex the whole time. We called you out. We were in Mexico City, and we met this guy called Jorge. We went to see a show called Carmen, a musical. And when we went to go see it, we kind of told some of the door. We showed up late, and we told some of the door people that we were from New York and that we were actors, which is all true. We had gone to NYU and all that kind of stuff. And then the door guy got really excited, and so they ended up giving us some pretty cool seats, like in the theater. It was very empty. It was one of those kind of like cabaret-y type venues where you ordered food, ordered drink, but it was a full-blown production. But during the show, once the curtain came down for the intermission, some people asked us if we would want to go backstage, and we were like, oh, fuck, okay, this is cool, sure. So we went backstage, and then we met the producer of the show, this guy Jorge. And we got to see kind of backstage, and the show continued while we were back there. So, set changes were happening, and, whole, like, it was really, really cool. But after the show, Jorge was like, hey, do you want to come out with me with some of the actors and stuff like that? It would be cool to hang out. His English was very good. And so we were like, sure. So we ended up going out to this bar. So the main actor, like the male lead, apparently used to be a stripper. And then he opened up his own male strip joint. And it was like, okay, cool. Yeah. So then we went out with him to his strip joint, which I believe was called La Cama. I think it was called La Cama, which is like a bed.
La Cama.
Yeah. And so it was
C-U-M-M-E-R.
We ended up going all the way down like several layers into some sub basement, and it was this nightclub in like a sub level 7 basement. And they had the velvet rope, and of course he owns the place, so cool, whatever. We went in, and there was like a bed hanging from the ceiling in like the middle of this strip joint, and there was I shit you not, there was a female midget on all fours getting dry humped from both sides by normal sized dudes.
That's so weird.
And like as in like an art piece, yeah.
They're making her shorter.
She's like just squishing her down like an accordion.
Like a torture device.
Yeah. So then we were in like a section that had like it was him. He had a girlfriend there, and him being the owner, and then his girlfriend. And then, we were just kind of drinking open bottle stuff. But then some guys performed, and they were like, they had the fireman thing where it was actually really classy. It wasn't like super gross. There were females in the audience that had a really great time. There was no actual no dude like helicoptered his dick and anyone. All that kind of stuff. But it was cool. It was fun. It was a fun night. So anyways, we had this really fun magical stripper midget night. And we were like, Jorge's cool, Mexico's cool, meeting people's cool. But then we went to Acapulco, and when we were there, I just remember we got in a cab, and the cab driver took us to the place that we had initially booked a hotel. And when we got there, he seemed kind of like, are you sure you want to stay here? And we're like, oh, what does that mean? He's like, hey, listen, we're up in the hills. There's a place closer to the beach. I think it would be safer. And we were kind of like, oh, okay.
The hills have highs up here.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, thanks for the heads up. So he takes us to this hotel.
Yeah.
Anyways, we only stayed there for 2 nights. And then the morning we're going to leave, my ex-wife and I, she was actually a staunch Republican. And I'm not like super liberal, but I'm definitely more liberal leaning. But we have arguments sometimes about things in general.
Yeah.
And that was one of those mornings, I guess, before we were gonna take a bus to Puerto Vallarta, I believe. But anyways, so we're at the hotel, we're having breakfast, and we're having kind of an argument, and I go to take a piss, and when I come back, she's sitting with a group of 2 females and a dude. All of them, no offense to plus size people, all very plus size people, and Jorge specifically not wearing, bro, more plus than you, bro, and not like
plus.
Yeah, he wasn't wearing a shirt, and he had like a golden fucking tooth, and so she's hanging out with them.
Villain.
Yeah, I come out of the bathroom, I'm like, oh, okay, what the fuck is this? And apparently, like, when we started talking, he like leaned over to me, like while she's kind of talking to some of them. Their English was not very good compared to the Jorge before. This is a different Jorge, so this is also Jorge, different Jorge.
Oh,
right. So
Jorge too, the same.
Yeah, Jorge plus.
So there's the good ones and the bad ones. And well, you'll find out why he was one of the bad ones.
Evil Jorge be like.
Yeah, evil. Exactly. No, plus size. Exactly. So we're talking, and he talks to me, and he's like, "Hey, you know, I saw you 2 arguing. This isn't a place to argue. Like, you know, you should be having a good time." And so he ended up ordering us tequila. Now we had a bus leaving in like 3 hours. And, you know, so we had a little bit of time, but it was still first thing in the fucking morning. Anyways, so he's like, you know, ordering shots, and he keeps doing the shots, and I realized he was doing the Chinese thing, where like the Chinese business meeting thing, where you get like 10 people that are part of a business and you're the guest. What they'll do is that they'll pour out like a drink, normally beer, for everybody, but then every one of them will cheers you, right, individually. So if there's 10 people at the table, you're going to take 10 shots, and they're going to take 1, and then they want to do business. That's kind of Asian business drinking etiquette. So just, be very careful about that kind of shit. Anyway, so this is what this guy was doing, but with tequila. And so my ex and I, we drank, but like, holy crap, like it became very clear. At some point, I even leaned over to her and I was like, how do you say in Spanish, this is getting dangerous? Like just the amount of alcohol we were consuming in a very, very short amount of time. So then they were like, oh, well, when are you leaving? And we said, oh, we still got about like another 2 hours or whatever. They're like, oh, let us take you out to lunch to like, we know like one of the best places here in the area. And we're like, you know, we're wasted and we're hanging out, we're talking, and it's like, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, we still got time. So they take us to this restaurant that we actually went to the night prior. But of course, it's daytime, it's early in the day. And we sit down, and we're sitting at the restaurant, and we're ordering drinks and food and all this kind of stuff. So my ex-wife decides she's not feeling well, and she needs to go fucking puke. And so the 2 ladies go with my ex to the bathroom, and they have one of those bathrooms where there's no door. It's like a zigzag kind of thing, like a dope.
Yeah.
It's like a jizz lane.
Yeah, it's like a jizz lane. She walked down the jizz lane. She paid the price. So like, yeah, there's no door. You just kind of like left and right it into
jizz lane toll.
Yeah, she paid the toll big time. And she started puking, and literally the whole restaurant could hear her retching and puking. But while I'm sitting there, just me and Jorge, he looks me dead in the eye, and he's like, "You want cocaine?" And I'm just like,
cocaine.
I mean, in any other situation, I probably would have been like, sure, but this was very. I didn't know the guy. It was a very bizarre way to bring. It was just like. Boom. Like as soon as she was gone, this is the question. And I was just like, no, I think I'm all right. Thanks for asking or offering or whatever. Anyways.
Bad, you already drank 10 shots of cocaine.
Yeah, I bet.
Like, no!
So she was puking, and then she eventually didn't come back to the table, but a waiter came back and was like, this is your bill. You guys need to go. And so I was like, oh, well, we had ordered drinks and hadn't even gotten them. We ordered food, hadn't gotten any of that. And
sure, they're kicking you out of it.
And they had a whole fucking bill for us. And I was like, oh. And then Jorge's like, he's kind of looking at me like, well, are you going to pay it or what the fuck's going on? So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. She's sick and we need to get out of here. I'm just going to pay this bill. Let's get the fuck out of this place, whatever. There's a cab waiting for us right outside the door. We go into the cab. We go back to the hotel. And as we're going through the lobby, I'm like, you know what? I think I need to get a room for us because I don't think we're going to make this bus. And he's like, no, just come up to the room. Just come up to the room. It'll be fine. And I'm like, I think, and then we were just like walking as a group. So I was just like, fuck it. Okay, fine, whatever. So then we go up to their room. And when I opened the door, I realized immediately there was a problem. Because as soon as we opened the door to the hotel room, there's a dude by the television in the hotel room. Like, already in the room. He was like already eating. And I look at him and I just kind of like wave like, oh, hey, what's up? It was the cab driver that took us from the original hotel to this hotel. And immediately, every red flag fucking went up. Like I was just like, oh, fuck. And there were a few other ones. So my ex-wife is laying on the bed. She ends up puking off the side of the bed. So she's like on her stomach, like kind of leaning over the edge, puking onto the floor. Onto the floor. Nobody gets up to clean it. Nobody's cleaning this. Jorge lies down on his back, and he's got his hands up, just kind of like, kind of like whatever. Oh, no big deal. But his hand is doing this thing, like if this is her ass, while she's like leaning over the fucking bed, he does this thing where his hand is just barely fucking touching her ass. And I was just like, what the fuck? She adjusts herself as she continues to puke, and somehow his hand again finds its way to just barely graze up against it. And as soon as all of that happened, I was like, I said to her, because their English was poor, but I was like, hun, we need to get the fuck out of here. And she's like, I know, I'm so sorry. I'm just like, no, we like right now. So I turned to leave, and one of the ladies that was there, she's like, no, you don't have to go. You should lie down. I'm like, I don't need to lie down. I'm like, I'm really, really sorry. I'm really sorry about her. I need to get her out of here. I apologize. And then I went from red flags to straight like adrenaline hit. She put both of her hands on my fucking chest. As soon as both of her hands were on my chest, like even though she was like, she wasn't particularly threatening, but at the same time, I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, nope. So I fucking grab my ex, I throw her over my shoulder like fucking fireman style, and I turn around, I'm like, lo siento, mi amor es muy borracha, like I just like, I'm really, really fucking sorry.
Adios.
I gotta get the fuck out of here. And like, they're like, no. I'm like, nope. We're getting out of here. I'm really, really sorry. Bye. And then I'm like smashing the fucking elevator button because their door was like right across from the elevator thing. I'm like smashing the button, the elevator opens, and then I'm like, okay, we're going back to the lobby because we had to get another room. And I was just like, hitting that. And in that moment, it was only a few seconds, but Jorge, with his fucking golden tooth, is standing in the fucking doorway. He's not saying a fucking word. He's not like, hey, come back in, or oh, I'm so sorry, or oh, good luck, or anything. He's just standing in the fucking doorway staring at us. And I was like, sorry, dude. Sorry. Fucking closed, motherfucker. Sorry. Dude. It was. And then what ends up happening is we end up getting in the room. They gave us the room, and it sounds like 2-story to be true. But they were like 1101. They gave us like 1001, which was our old room, to be fair. So it was the one directly below their room.
Oh, no.
So then we end up going up into the room. She's like, I'm so sorry. And I think like adrenaline is what was probably keeping me from being as wasted as I was, because it kicked in. It definitely fucking kicked in. So we're sleeping in 2 separate beds at this point because, we're both kind of like feeling sick. At some point, she gets up to go take a shower because, she's not feeling well. And then I just remember laying in bed for like what felt like eternity, and I didn't hear anything coming from the shower except for water. And I was like, did something happen to her? And so by this time, the sun's already down, because we slept into the night. And I go into the bathroom, and I don't know if this is just drunk brain or sociopathic tendency. I have no fucking idea what this is. I normally consider myself a fairly empathetic person. For some reason, I walk into the bathroom, and it was one of those showers where it was like a whole fucking, like, not room, but like, it wasn't a shower stall. It was like, you know what I mean? It was like an area.
It's like part of the bathroom.
And she was like crumpled on the ground. And for some reason, I felt the need. We had a camera that we brought on the trip. I felt the need to fucking be like, hold on, honey. And I went back and I grabbed my camera.
This is artistic as hell.
And I was videotaping her and I was like kicking her with my foot, like, honey, wake up, wake up. It's the weird. I don't know why I fucking
Say
did
Mexico.
that. I'm certainly not bragging when I say this. But anyways, she was okay, but that was still a weird fucking thing to do. Anyways, so I pull her up out of the shower. And she was totally blacked out. So she was like kind of like, you know, kind of like slurring, whatever. I dried her off. I put her on the bed. And then I started feeling like when I woke up from that nap, I was fucking gone. Like I was just out of it. And so I puked a few times. And then I took a shower. And then I laid down. And then we're both kind of laying down in separate beds. It's night. And she kind of wakes up and she's like, I don't feel good. This isn't right. This just doesn't feel right. And then she got really worried that we'd have to call a hospital because we were like in a different country. And she didn't there were all these things like, do I need to call my parents? Like there's something like really wrong right now.
Yeah.
And we were both completely alcohol poisoned at that point. And so, you know, we kind of tried to talk through it. I ended up like passing back out when I woke up at like 3 a.m. There was a pizza in the room and it had a few slices missing, but she was asleep and I woke up and I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like apparently she like stumbled to a place and bought a pizza or something. Yeah, I have no idea. But then at some point she started puking and she couldn't stop and she couldn't hold down any liquid. And so we kept trying to get like water and stuff into her, but every time she drank it, she would puke. And then the same thing was happening to me too, which, you know, that's pretty common for alcohol poisoning. So, with all the concerns that we had, it was like, listen, we're in a different country. We clearly have alcohol poisoning. There's only one way we're going to be able to get through this. This was my thinking at the time. The hotel that we were staying at had a walkway that had like an outdoor. So if you...
A jizz lane.
A jizz lane, correct. Thank you. It's a zigzagging jizz lane. And so it had like outside access, if that makes any sense. So like there were no windows or walls. Like you would walk, like you could walk from the first floor to the top floor and you'd have like this, and you could see the outside of the building. You know what I mean? Like there was, like it was just an outdoor staircase. So it was, I was like, we grabbed like these 2 huge jugs of water, that we had. We had water before because we knew we were not going to feel well. We filled them up. Probably not the best thing to do with their water, but we had to drink something. I'd rather have diarrhea than fucking like die of alcohol or die of dehydration.
Yeah.
So we ended up filling them up, and we did this thing where I was like, we are going to walk up and down these stairs and drink this water until we're sober. So I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
For the next 4 hours, we went down and up. The sun came up during this. And it would be like, we would chug water, you'd chug it, and then like 2 seconds later, all of it. And then we just, you know, puke it over the fucking railing or into the stairs. And we just, and luckily nobody ever came up those stairs, but we just went up and down, this sweating and drinking and puking and sweating, this up and down, up and down.
Epic.
We took a few breaks in between. Dude, that was the closest I think I ever got to like dying from actual alcohol, like alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
But we both survived.
Jesus.
We did not drink for the whole, we had another week planned. We actually ended up, because we didn't go to Puerto Vallarta, we went to Zihuatanejo, which is from, if you know Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, to meet up with,
meet up with, not Red, but Tim Robbins' character, Andy Dufresne. And then
Dufresne,
there you go.
Yeah, so we went down there. They had beautiful seafood. It was really, really chill. I was learning HTML and CSS at the time, but we did not drink for the rest of that fucking trip. And we are drinkers, but there was no way. We were on that bus. That bus ride down there was like the worst fucking bus ride. But yeah, that was the Acapulco fucking alcohol poisoning.
You survived.
Goddamn.
That was the closest.
That was a crazy story.
That's how you're looking so svelte now.
I have no idea. I have no idea what they would have done to us, but I know for a fact something was supposed, in their minds, something was going to happen in that fucking hotel room. There was no fucking doubt about that.
That is so fucking creepy.
Wait,
Goddamn.
I see a little golden glimmer coming from that crack in your closet back there.
It's Jorge!